Have you ever felt kind of judged for having just a few close friends? Well, today we're going to dive into why that's not a weakness at all, but actually a sign of some serious inner strength. Let's uncover the powerful psychological reasons behind it.
You know, if you're someone who prefers a quieter social life, it can feel like the world just doesn't quite get you. But what if that preference isn't a flaw? We're about to explore how it's really a sign of some pretty remarkable and powerful personality traits.
Society loves to slap labels on people who prefer smaller circles, doesn't it? You might hear the whispers that you're lonely or unsuccessful or just plain antisocial. But honestly, these assumptions couldn't be more wrong. In fact, they completely miss the point.
Because here's the thing. The psychological reality is that what others might see as a weakness is actually a reflection of a uniquely wired mind. It's not about being timid or broken. It's about operating on a totally different, much deeper level. So let's get into the 5 core traits that define this whole mindset.
First up, a deep intolerance for anything fake. And this isn't about being cynical or negative. It's about having a mind that is just highly tuned to authenticity. You basically have a built-in system that just can't stand superficiality.
So let's get this straight, because it's a crucial point. You're not avoiding people, you're avoiding pretense. The world is just filled with fake smiles and conversations that have zero substance. And for you, being alone is 1,000 times better than being in a crowd of people who aren't being real.
This really captures that feeling perfectly. It's almost like having a sixth sense. You just see through all the noise, and you can spot insincerity from a mile away. You can feel it in someone's tone, you sense the hidden agenda behind their words, and that sensitivity is why your circle is small, but also incredibly real.
All right, so let's move on to our second trait, which builds right on top of the first one, a profound need for depth. See, you aren't running from friendship, you're running from the shallow connections that so often pass for friendship in today's world. For you, relationships are absolutely not a numbers game. It's not about how many people you know, it's about how deeply you can actually connect. That casual chatter about the weather or what you did last weekend, it can feel so draining because it just lacks the substance your mind is craving. You're looking for conversations that matter, with people who get the silence between the words. Okay, this next one is a total game changer for understanding yourself. The social battery. Ever wonder why a party can feel like you've just run a marathon, while other people seem to get energized by it? Well, the answer is all in how your brain processes social information. Psychologists actually have a name for this. It's called high social sensitivity. And it just means you're not only listening to the words people say, you're processing their tone, their body language, the unspoken emotions, everything. You're engaging on a much deeper level, and that kind of deep processing uses a massive amount of mental energy. Now, what's so interesting here is the contrast. You can see it laid out. While a lot of people gain energy from social interaction, you expend it. Every deep conversation, every emotional connection you make, it takes a piece of your battery. And this is exactly why you need that time alone to recharge. It's not avoidance, it's absolutely essential self-care. Our fourth trait, honestly, this is a genuine superpower in the modern world. You are free from needing external validation. You operate from your own internal compass, which makes you the master of your own self-worth. And this quote, wow, it just captures the essence of that freedom perfectly. When your happiness doesn't depend on praise or likes or invitations, you become incredibly powerful. You can't be manipulated by what other people think because your foundation is built inside yourself. The psychological term for this is low social dependency. And what that really means is you just don't need a constant stream of approval to feel good about who you are. You find peace in your own quiet and strength in your own company. And you know, this can be really confusing for people who rely on social feedback for their self-esteem. They might see your independence and think you're being aloof or even arrogant, but they just don't realize that you've built your strength from the inside out, not the other way around. And that brings us to our fifth and final trait. Your selectiveness isn't random. It's actually a shield that's been forged by experience. Your caution is a sign of wisdom you've had to earn, not a sign of fear. So how does this happen? Well, psychology shows that when someone's trust gets broken, their mind naturally goes on the defensive. It's a survival mechanism. After you've experienced some kind of betrayal, you don't just bounce back like nothing happened. Your mind learns, it adapts, and it builds a stronger barrier to protect your heart. We can call this your trust threshold. Think of it like a protective door that just becomes way more secure after it's been forced open once.
Now people need the right key to get in, and that key is sincerity and depth and genuine connection. It's not about shutting people out. It's about only letting the right ones in.
So, when people say things like, "you've changed," or "you've become distant," they're kind of missing the point. You haven't changed who you are at your core. Not at all. You've simply learned how to protect that core more effectively. You've become a safer version of yourself.
So, when you look at all 5 of these traits together, this really powerful picture emerges. Your intolerance for fakeness, that's your filter. Your need for depth, that ensures the connections that do get through are meaningful. Your social sensitivity means you engage with them fully. And your freedom from validation means you don't need a huge crowd to feel whole. And finally, the wisdom from your past protects this entire ecosystem. See? These aren't weaknesses. They're the building blocks of a deeply authentic, self-aware, and resilient person.
Your small circle isn't a failure. It's a fortress. It's a fortress you've built to protect your peace and your energy. It's a conscious choice to prioritize quality over quantity and depth over all the noise. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. In a world that never stops talking, is your silence actually your greatest strength?